Hi and welcome to the Market Alert for Monday the 9th of December 2024. So November job surge above estimates as wage growth comes in hot, unemployment rises. So the NFP numbers came in a lot hotter than forecast. We'll look at those in just a moment. The market is pricing a December cut and Wall Street reacts to today's solid jobs numbers. A December cut is in the offing, but come early 2025, the Fed is likely to slow its cutting pace to every other meeting. So that will be interesting because it coincides, of course, with Trump's inauguration as well in January. The economic news, just look at Friday's numbers. You can see they came in hot. We were no surprise, really. Interesting that they revised the previous month's numbers, which were a political one, as I've mentioned before. They were increased, and that's unusual to see that. They were increased to 36, but the 12,000 that they put out in, November, was just a joke, frankly. So yeah, 227, the forecast was 218, so still coming out hotter than forecast there. Economic news for today, I don't think there is anything today, no, and it's a light week as far as economic news is concerned. The only one of any concern, I suppose, if you live in the UK, are the inflation numbers. They're out on Wednesday, but otherwise not a lot to report this week. So the market's going to have to use geopolitical events to make its moves if it's going to continue to do what it did last week and move to the upside. So let's have a look at the market's reaction to the NFP numbers from Friday and kick off with the Dow. So on Friday, the market didn't really greet these numbers with any sort of fanfare. In fact, the opposite, the market moving slightly lower and also lower on the overnight as well. When you look at the 30-minute chart, you can see there's the initial reaction. It was pleasing. Market trying to get to Thursday's high, but failing to do so. And then prices down. And also note that they're currently at Friday's low at the moment. Need to hold at this level in order to move back to the upside there. Otherwise, we could see prices moving to this line here where we saw the last support coming in. Let me just draw that in for you. So around the 44428 level there. In the German DAX, a new all-time high for Friday, despite the NFP numbers, 20,428. 20,500 is waiting to be taken out. Whether that's today or not, we have a significant move up from last week. We just have a quick look for the numbers here, going from Monday through to the end of Friday's session. And there you can see 1,077 points for the week. That's a huge move, and it certainly needs to breathe a bit following this. Whether that happens today, we'll just have to wait and see. Of course, we've got these more geopolitical news coming out of Syria, with Assad having jumped ship, or being forced out rather than jumping, and heading to Moscow. So the alliance getting stronger there as well, with Russia, China, etc. as well. All the bad men together, as it were. So the DAX up until we had the NFP numbers, then awful in the afternoon, just sideways. It's not uncommon for this to actually happen, where we get these NFP numbers and then all of the hoopla and fuss that preceded it was far more impressive, as you can see here, than the actual event. So overnight, the market down a bit, but sitting above the close in the DP. Nothing like the Dow, where it is sitting at Friday's low. In the S&P 500, new all-time high, 6,099. So nearly 6,100, down on the overnight. But again, you'll see that the market's nowhere near Friday's low. So again, being supported overnight by the, again, geopolitical events. I mean, the market's just ignoring these things. More instability in the Middle East. Well, not anymore, I suppose. It depends. Well, there is until the vacuum's filled. But, and no doubt America will assist in that with no problems whatsoever, providing a new regime to secure the energy. But let's not get too political or conspiratorial here. Patently obvious, but there you go. So yeah, the high of Friday needs to be taken out there. And the UK market down on Friday, but still set to go to the all-time highs, and it's got time to do that within the next couple of weeks. And the 30-minute chart you can see there following the Dow during Friday's session and then moving back to the upside there. Found support overnight at the close as well. So in the US dollar, this starting to move up in the overnight there. So a bit more strength coming back into the US dollar. Again, that ties in quite normal sort of reaction to what's happening in the Middle East at the moment in Syria. It's the flight to so-called quality, and I use the term quality very, very loosely. But it is the world reserve currency, and that's why you're seeing that to move higher. So what's the impact on the metals with regards to this? On Friday, it moved lower. No surprise there. I mentioned that on Friday. There's a bit of support there, lent, because of the uncertainty that is brought about over the weekend. 30-minute chart, you can see 130, not only the NFP numbers, but the London slam. Overnight, we've been slammed again, but now trying to bounce back there. Same for gold, stuck in a sideways range. Good to see it's holding support there. So when it does break back out, it's likely to make a new all-time high above the current all-time high of 2,790. In the 30-minute chart, again, you can see the market's reaction to the NFP numbers, and overnight prices haven't been slammed as much and are moving back to the upside as well. So what's the impact against the gold-silver ratio with regards to this? And there we go. It was up on Friday. No surprise, it got slammed compared to gold, which is in a sideways channel. And overnight, silver moving slightly better than gold is all it's showing there. So early at the moment, we'll see what happens as news events unfold and how the markets react to those news events from the weekend. Right, let's have a quick look at Friday's trading session. So in the pre-market, again, you can see the market's momentum last week making new all-time highs, and I suspect that's going to continue. We have these pullbacks that I mentioned in Friday's alert, and then off we go again. So we get a shakeout taking profits, and then the market spiking up to the all-time high from Thursday, and then seeing the market pull back. So I got this wrong. I said it was likely to pull back first before moving higher, which it did, but we had that spike to the upside first and expected to see it do what it did there, open, move lower, and then move higher, which it did the opposite there. But obviously that was designed and engineered to encourage people to buy in, thinking, well, we've had 4 days, we should continue, so jump in, and then they bring it back 50 odd points, and you can see the market then moving back to the upside, and then just trailing the market back up. So then we had the shakeout, and then off we go with, we'll see the losing trade there because the market didn't want to sell off and doesn't appear to want to sell off at the moment. So they're just trailing the stop up to the R1 and then taking the profits out of the trade as it came back. Actually I didn't take the profits, as you can see there, kept it going just to see if we had a pullback to the all-time high, which we did, and then the market started to move higher, but then it entered some weakness, and you'll see that in a moment. So I took both of the positions off the table, as you'll see there, taking the positions off. Market then puts in another loss on the sell side and then moves higher once more and then starts to come back. And I'm just using the fibs to see where the market's got weakness, which it did, and then it started to become sideways in the fib range. Market then sideways, NFP numbers, no major reaction by the German DAX, and then just traded sideways until the Dow opened and then sold off. And this time we do get a winner, but it stops again down at the all-time high. The high and the low of the previous days, a very important level for all markets. The market bounces off this. However, that damp squib of a market reaction, prices trade sideways, and eventually this trade is stopped out for a small loss there, which you can see as the market then comes back and tries to stay above Thursday's high, which it does, but unfortunately just peaked below it and then move back. So there we go, that's Friday's session. A quick look at the overnight market, see what it's doing. And currently we're at the close and the DP area below the 200 MA at the moment. This needs to be broken, but I suspect that won't be too much of a problem. Now we've got the NFP numbers out of the way, there's no major economic news items that will affect the DAX. The UK CPI won't be an issue for the German DAX. It'll just be completely ignored and washed over unless it comes out a lot higher than forecast. But otherwise the market's moving back to the upside is what we're expecting to see during today. as you can see that vertical climb from last week. And the Santa rally, of course, a couple of weeks left before the markets say thank you very much for this year and start in 2025 with a lot of turmoil, I suspect, as the reality of Trump coming into office becomes a lot more real. At the moment, it's the honeymoon period. We can't do any damage, but we'll see what happens in January, particularly January the 20th or thereafter. Okay, that's it for this one. Have a great day, and as ever, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.